Welcome everyone back to the channel. In this video it's going to be different than what I typically have been doing videos on, which is mainly tech related, but what I'm going to talk about today is going to be cold brew coffee, and what this mainly is going to be is a video or a review of the OXO. This is their cold brew coffee maker. It runs about $40 to $50, and then I'll kind of compare it to some of the other ones out there that are a little bit different and kind of talk about that. Cold brew coffee, it's, you know, typically a general easy process to do. Basically what it does, you put some coffee grounds in here. They're usually a little coarser than what you would do regular drip coffee. You put water in, you just let it sit, and basically you drain it. That's how cold brew coffee, the process works. It's a fairly simple concept. It's a popular thing to do, especially in the summertime or springtime like now, if you're in the Midwest where it's a little bit warmer. So we've had the OXO cold brew coffee system for about 2 years now, and basically what it does, it comes like this. There is some coffee in here, so I'm going to be a little careful with it, but basically what it is you put coffee grounds in here, and then you drain the water through here, and then it sits here, and then you press this, and it will dispense through the bottom there. So some general thoughts about this. This has a filter in the bottom. It does recommend using another filter on top of that, like you would for regular drip coffee, but what I found, when you do that, it actually will not filter through, or it will take days to do so, so we don't do that. So I'm going to kind of give a quick review of this and then compare it against more of a cylinder base where it just has the mesh filter here. And then you put your grounds in there, and then you just stick it in and let it sit. It's similar to how you're just kind of like brewing tea. So this runs about between $40 and $50. I will put the link below if you want to purchase it. Kind of go through some good and bads of it. The good thing is this is all made of plastic, so it is fairly durable compared to this is glass, and I'm surprised I haven't broke it yet, but it's made all plastic. It seems pretty well built, pretty robust, and it does come apart like this, so in theory you could put something else in here. Like I know Dunkin' Donuts has theirs where you just put your bags in here and put water in, and it filters through that way. But again, the process, you usually put your coffee grounds in, filter the water in, let it sit for 2 or 3 days, and then you'll have cold brew coffee. This does make a decent amount. That's one of the pluses, is that it's a fairly large container. Some of these are really small, like this one you don't get a whole lot out of, but in this one you get a decent amount. So that's good. Seems well built, makes a decent amount. It's fairly easy to do right out of the box. As long as you do the coffee grounds right, they need to be a little coarser. If you buy them at a coffee shop, a lot of times they can grind them for you, or if you have a grinder, nice grinder at home, you can do it that way. But this is it. It does take up a lot of room on the counter, so if you don't have a lot of counter space, that's something to keep in mind. And that's it. We've had good luck out of it for the past couple years we've had it. A few negatives is that it does get a decent amount of residue when you drain the coffee out. Again, so what it has a metal filter on there, and it recommends putting another layer of filter like a regular coffee ground, regular drip filter on top. Problem is that it does not drain very well if you do that, and even with that off, sometimes it doesn't drain all the way through, and that is a pain to have to work with, especially if it's an oily coffee bean. It tends to not drain all the way through, and then you basically have to drain it yourself. Take it off, use a strainer, and do it that way. But no matter what we do with this system, it seems to have a lot of residue in your coffee, so a lot of times we have to do it twice. So basically what we do is we drain it out here, and then we'll take it through and run it through another coffee filter to get some of that residue out of there. So that's one of the negatives that I found. I've seen a lot of reviews online about people saying that it leaks, and there's an O-ring in there for when you press this down. Basically it pushes all that up, and they said that they have issues with it leaking. I haven't had a lot of issues with that. I just have a little spring, which I'll try to get a picture of that too. Basically it presses up on there and the coffee comes out. Leaked a little bit there because I pressed up on it, but overall we haven't had any issues with it leaking. But I think for $40, $50, I think you get your money's worth. It's, again, well built. It does a decent job. It depends on, if you get an oily coffee bean, that's where you tend to have problems. So if I was getting this, I would try to find a drier coffee bean that's not as oily, and it tends to work out pretty well. This does make the coffee a lot stronger than a system like this for some reason. Usually this will go 1.5, 2 days, and you're ready to go. Sometimes this you have to do 2, 3, sometimes 4. I'm not really sure if it's dependent on the coffee beans, but this one seems to take a little bit longer. So I would recommend, if you're looking to make a large amount and you want something that's easy to do and you're okay with maybe a little bit of residue in your coffee, which is inevitable even if you're doing regular standard drip hot coffee, this is a good system to go with, and it's pretty durable. It's made of plastic, so it's not going to be easy to break as some of the glass ones out there. It does have a cylinder, which again I'll try to get a picture for you guys of, that drains into, that is glass and has a nice little top on it. I'll try to get a video of that up if I can find it. It's somewhere inside. So if you're comparing that to, let's say, this is the Table Cheek. They don't sell this anymore on Amazon, but I'll get a link below of a similar product. This is one that I would probably recommend people buying if they're wanting one with less residue in it. So basically what it is it's a really fine threaded mesh filter made of metal, and you just put it in there, you put your coffee in there, and you fill it up like that. It does take a little bit longer, 2, 3, 4 days, and it doesn't make as much coffee, mainly because it's not quite as big of a capacity fluid-wise as this one, but you can get these in bigger ones, so I'll put a couple recommendations below of ones that I've played with in stores and ones that I would purchase. It's a lot cheaper process than going and buying these at the stores, making it at home. This is one bag, I forget, 14, 15 ounces of coffee that I've made here. I like mine a little stronger, so then you can add a little bit more ice and you get a little bit more longevity out of it. So this is what you can basically make with one. It'll get you through a week. It depends on how much coffee you drink. If you drink a lot of coffee, likely not, but it's a good way to save some money in the long run. And this, I believe we paid like $25 for. You can get them fairly cheap. This one's a little more expensive, probably because you're paying for that OXO brand, which is a pretty common, popular brand, and it is well built. This, I'm not sure. I'm sure if I dropped it, it would shatter in a second. I'm likely surprised I haven't done that yet. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to leave the comments below. If you want to purchase any of this stuff, I will leave the links below, and I'll see you guys next time.